back to kind of like the homework calendars,
Okay.
because now that we're using the homework calendars for, I think it's the second year, correct? Like
Yes.
last year we just kind of worked through it. We didn't
Right.
start until later in the
Later
year,
in the year.
but we've been using the weekly homework calendars. How have they supported your being able to use your AVMR training?
I think one of the best ways is that when you do your weekly newsletter and you're trying to explain to your parents like what you're working on and you're explaining it, I don't think it always comes through like in a newsletter form. But I think when you put it in the homework calendar and you're giving parents concrete examples of this is what I mean when I say number before, number after, things like that, I think it's so concrete for them that they understand what we're talking about and they're able to support their children better. And I think that we're finding that the children are so much stronger in those skills and they're going to those higher levels and they're able to use it and apply it. Whereas last year I felt like, especially like number before, for some reason that was always really difficult. This year it's not a problem, they've got it. And I think it's because we just started right off the bat and we were able to really focus in on what it is, where it is they were struggling. And the nice thing about our kindergarten is that, you know, in every building there's like one person and that communicates with the other kindergarten teachers at the other buildings. And so when we, you know, are talking about the homework, we're seeing it across the district of who's struggling with what and what good ideas they have, and we're able then to integrate all of those things together to put it together to have, you know, the curriculum go home then to the parents in a meaningful way.
Okay. Share how the weekly calendars have helped parents work with their children to support a little bit more. Tell me a little bit more about that. You started to talk about that before too.
Again, I think it's so concrete. Like, you know, we'll talk about number story theater, but now we're giving them the problems and we're saying, okay, these are the norms and this is how we teach it and this is what we're looking for at school. Try this at home. And so then I get comments back on the form that, oh, right away. Or, you know, like there was one where we actually we wanted to see if they were listening. And so like if you listened really closely to the problem, like the answer was there. And so, you know, you could tell then parents were like, oh, they heard it right away, or they were, you know, they broke it this way and then they tried it this way. So I just think that they really start to understand what it is we're looking for. And I also think they start to see why we worked on like certain skills and how then it applies later on, why their children needed to know it and why it was so important that they know it and know it fluently.
Can you give me an example?
I think something like the Partners of Five, like now that they're getting into the number bonds and again with the number story theater, to see like that it's important that you have to have that base, you have to understand that how those numbers are decomposed so that you can solve those problems quickly.
Okay.
You know, and that you're not always using your fingers and relying on those things. I mean, it's okay to, but you know, we want things to be fast and fluent. So